Hi, folks. With Tacitus today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this audio live stream. Please listen to this presentation as you would a radio broadcast. In this essay, I'd like to talk about the Biden appointees, so the U.S. government, the Biden appointees to various public service institutions, the Antitrust Commission, the Trade Commission, any government department, and they're starting to they're realizing they're going to be replaced, so they're starting to leave now and I suppose arrange alternative employment. And as a few of these were announced, I noticed them in the news. Just a few of them, I remember them being confirmed in the first place, or the confirmation hearing at least. And I was staggered then, and still am, at just how low quality these people are. There was no attempt at hiring quality people, competent, capable people. Ideological fanatics, sure, there's plenty of them. And why would you want them in government jobs where they're supposed to be administering the government department, whichever government department, for the benefit of all Americans? Instead, you've got some crazed globalist leftist fanatic that's heavily biased in one direction. Why would you want that? Sure, you wouldn't if you're trying to serve the American people. And it's quite clear that with the appointments the Biden administration is making, that there was no intention of serving the American people. They were there to in the first instance, install ideological fanatics, but also in the second instance, I think at least, to humiliate and degrade and denigrate the American people, to say, now your overlords are brown and black lesbians. These are your overlords. These are your masters now, and you are now the slave class reporting to the black lesbian master. And you see this in micro, the amount of times now around Sydney, particularly as you're going into the city or city areas, where you'll see, say there was a cleanup crew working and I've mentioned this before, working to clean up a train that's it's come to the terminus. It's about to do the turnaround and go back down the line. And there's this cleanup crew who comes along, and it's this very, very bossy Asian chick, drunk on power, and she's can only just speak English, and you have to listen to her quite hard to pick up what she's saying. And the entire work crew that she's in charge of are all white men, and her sole purpose appears to be to humiliate and grind them into the dust and so on. And all these very scared. What I assume they're people out of prisons or so. I don't know, but they seem to be terrified of this Chinese chick. Why would you give someone like that the job of being the boss? I mean, it must be to degrade and denigrate, humiliate. What else could it be? She's not qualified, clearly. Can barely speak the language. Why would you make her the boss? You wouldn't in some real world. And I see this writ large in the United States. And some of the people who, many of the people that the Biden regime appointed appeared to fit into this category. Totally unqualified, radical fanatics, and with a heavy emphasis on people who hate with a passion, who hate white society, and are convinced that patriarchy, misogyny, Nazis, fascists, Hitler is everywhere. These are people that go on social media and say that anyone that votes for Trump is a Nazi, and so on and so forth. And yet they're there in charge of a senior role in a department delivering public services for all Americans. I mean, it's an outrage of the first order. But there you go. So just looking at these people, and as you look at the quality of these people, not only are they as dumb as Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, but they seem to hate the country that has just elevated them to a level of managerial seniority that they could never dream of achieving on any form merit. Now I was looking at one. I mean, and this could typify the. So here's she goes from, or her family goes from Pakistan to England, and then I think as a junior school kid, the family moves to the northeast United States. Now it's fairly clear that she's no genius, this girl, and even today, as a woman in her 30s, she talks like she's still in a high school debating club, a girly high school debating club at that, and she's given a senior job on big bucks, which is still in her 20s, by the Biden administration. Now, just look at this background. So she's, I don't know, 10 years old or something, and she comes to the United States. She's only in high school a few years, 2 or 3 years, and she gets given the job of editor of the student magazine. She's still got the subcontinent accent, so English wouldn't be easy for her. But anyway, they give her the job. Somehow she gets the job. Then she's captain, head prefect or whatever they call it, executive hall monitor or something at the school. So she's accolade after accolade, prestige after prestige. Then she's captain of the debating team, and she's this and she's that. Now, if she was any of those things on merit, then it's not evident today. So during the confirmation hearing, which I look back on, and then during a later media interview, where she was lionized as some great goddess by the media. So you know that the globalists say, okay, we want you to build her up, make her out into make out she's a genius when she's far from it. So she gets all this, then goes to university. Seems to be an ordinary student at the school, but anyway, goes to university, and then the same thing, captain of the debating team, and she's editor of the university magazine, and then the executive editor, and all these sorts of things. All these accolades being given to a very unimpressive person, and someone who appears to have no obvious gifts. Now, maybe her gifts are so stunning that a dumbass like me can't see them. And maybe she has no gifts, or maybe she's such a genius that she can exquisitely conceal her gifts from all onlookers. Maybe that's a possible explanation here. Anyway, she gets she's then given another gig at mysteriously wins a scholarship to an Ivy League university where she gets a PhD. So she spent nearly all of an adult life in university and as a student activist and that sort of thing. Then she comes out and gets a government job. She's only in it for a short period of time, and then gets appointed to a very senior to head up a federal government department, an area that she appears to know nothing about. And now, again, if you look at her social media postings, that the US is surrounded by capitalist, fascist Nazis and misogynists and this and that and patriarchy and so on and so forth. But she's, her only concern is social engineering. It's not delivering service or quality for the American public. And again, she's paid quite handsomely for this. Now, so she's just a radical activist who doesn't deserve the job, but she's been created, she's been manufactured out in the back room. They've decided when she was 14 or 15 years old, we want her as a poster child. So the globalists have descended upon her. We want her. She's female, she's dark brown, and we can mold her into whatever we want her to think, because she's not very bright, so we can control her intellectually. Then we can, stick a couple of batteries in her and just let her loose, and she'll do the foot soldier work we want done. Such is the globalist view of the world. Now, she's the word around is that she's, well, not really, she is leaving the government department, and she's one of many, by the way. I'm only using her as she's representative of much of what's going on in the US at the moment, with all these flunky stooge appointees leaving. But it seems she's been already offered, and if I've understood it correctly, accepted a very lucrative role as a senior professor at one of the bigger universities in the United States. So from the havoc she's wreaked, even though she's unworthy in every sense, she's going to walk into a very well-paid, tenured job, prestigious job, for which again she's absolutely and totally unqualified, where she'll be able to spread the globalist message even further. Should this be allowed? I mean, should this be prevented? I mean, is it the free market in action? Well, it's not. It's not the free market in action. The globalists have rigged the entire game. It doesn't matter whether you want to call it affirmative action or diversity, equity, inclusion, or we only place radical activists in the key roles. It doesn't matter, but it's a rigged game. There's nothing meritorious about it at all. Now, I just want to sort of comment on the effect of this. When you get this many incompetent affirmative action people at all levels, whether it's government, whether it's and also social engineer fanatics, ideological fanatics, in government, in business, in quangos, in the media, everywhere. These people are installed at all levels. Now, I'm hoping, and it does look like it, by the way, that the incoming President Trump administration will unwind quite a bit of this. But we need to go further, and pressure needs to be exerted on all the countries in the Anglosphere to reverse the globalist policies. Australia, for example, has got nuclear levels of mass immigration from India, which is destroying the country across the board, because they're all being given affirmative action jobs. None of them are getting jobs by merit. So by their mere existence and coming here, they're undermining the very fabric of merit that once existed in Australia. So hopefully the Trump administration will exert pressure on Western countries to do this. But when you look at the poor quality, the low quality of the people that the Biden administration, the globalist controlled Biden administration has installed at all levels, then it goes to show you how far the West has fallen. Now, some people sort of ask me, well, why is this? The decisions still have to be made. If they're appointing all these low quality people, then how are decisions getting made? Well, the whole structure of decision making has changed. The globalists now make all the decisions, and so they just they appoint stooge flunkies into these roles because the big decisions, even the upper level decisions of any description, are all being made at the globalist control managerial level. The decisions that were once made by politicians and committees and public service are no longer being made. All the decisions now are being made by the globalist cabal. Now, sure, these public servants, they're still allowed to do their anti-white, anti-male social engineering, but even that's only because the globalists are pushing them at it and pointing them at it. So that's not something that they per se are choosing to do. So they get to choose how many transgender bathrooms are in the building, but not much else. And the rest of it, they're just given the script and told to follow it. Now, higher quality, well-qualified, accomplished people, that they don't particularly fit in well to here's a script, follow it, do what the fuck we tell you. Accomplished, high-quality people don't tend to go well in that sort of situation. So that's why they need to appoint flunkies and stooges all over the place, which is what they've done. But these flunkies and stooges are starting to leave in large numbers, and they would be got rid of anyway. And that's a good thing, and we should celebrate it. You've been with Tassus today, your Pushback channel, and thank you for listening.